Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We can confirm that whilst we were off, there was indeed a repair. So essentially, after repair happened, we decided to take the first available game we saw. So we will be featuring Gabor V of Germany against Maor L from Israel.
Yeah, it's a very interesting game that we've got here. It is an ADP mirror. And interestingly enough, as we jump in maybe a turn and a half through, at this stage, no one has gotten the GX attack off yet, which is generally the key for this particular matchup. At the moment here, we're seeing a Dene GX potentially being played. We're probably going to go looking for an energy switch here to try and get that GX attack off.
Yes, I have an engine switch. Or, of course, the main new addition for the Arceus Dialga Palkia Zacian deck is, of course, that turbo patch. I think this deck hasn't really changed much, generally
No,
speaking.
not really. There's a couple of inclusions that are seeing some play at the moment. We're seeing a bit of Zamazenta V in ADP Zacian. Obviously, more VMAX Pokemon coming into the format means that there's more opportunity for that card to be very strong. And obviously, Turbo Patch is very, very powerful. Interestingly enough, I think only one of our players is actually playing Turbo Patch, which is a bit of an interesting call. We've got one list is playing Turbo Patch, so it'll be interesting to see the difference in those two decks running, how consistently they can go.
Yeah, well, I mean, I imagine some people will probably be put off by the fact that Turbo Patch is a coin flip, but ultimately, it's a coin flip that, if you get ahead, is astonishingly powerful. So
Yeah,
I think it's worth it.
it certainly is, and unfortunately, there Gabor not quite getting that GX attack off here. So we will see Maor get an opportunity to get that GX attack off and start taking some knockouts. And the worst thing I would say is that Gabor has a Dene GX on the field, which is normally the first target for a knockout. Arceus Dialga Palkia likes to take those 2 or 3 prizes on Dene GX so that it can start powering up its board state.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we do see there from Mao that he's managed to get that second energy on
Mhm.
the Arceus Dialga and Palkia GX. So all he needs is a switch, which he has, and he will actually be able to fire off the first Alter Creation. That is absolutely huge in the mirror match.
This is a big, big deal, and does it without even needing to use a supporter. So a fresh set of 7 cards from Professor's research, and we can see that Altered Creation coming off right now. That means that from this point forward, every one of Maor's attacks is going to be doing 30 more damage, and will be taking an extra prize because of that added water energy.
Yes, he will absolutely do. So now play passes back to Gabor as he just fires off to Stellar Wish, finds off the boss's orders off of that. I'm not sure if he just, well, maybe he's thinking about it. If he's probably going to end up like taking that, but he already has one in hand, so it's probably just to keep it in reserve. And yeah, he does indeed take that. We do see him have the Metal Saucer and the Energy Switch in hand, and the Switch, so he can do the Alter Creation this turn. Oh, he gets
Certainly
ahead.
can, and there's a lot of energy acceleration here. That Turbo Patch heads flipping the right way there, so we're going to see a powered Zacian here. It looks like the switch is going into the Zacian V, so we're foregoing the GX attack here because we're just going to take a straight knockout on the Zacian V on Maor's bench. So big play there from Gabor, taking the first 2 prizes of this one.
Yeah, and that's an absolutely fair play as well. Like, he knows that if he just goes Alter Creation, he's always going to be 1 turn behind. So instead, he's decided, okay, let's be a little bit more proactive. Let's just actually take a knockout on the Zacian, because that knocks out 2 energy. It means that basically it forces Maor into like an ultimate Ray turn. Of course, if he can ultimate Ray the Dedenne, that's going to be really good, and especially if he has a quick ball to power up the Zacian V. And I think that might be what he's going for. We'll see. There's Zacian.
There's a Zacian, so now all that is needed is another energy and a gust of some description. We've got a metal saucer here. So obviously that ultimate ray is going to be a big, big turn. If it comes off, then we're probably going to see Maor take a very commanding lead.
Yes.
But if not, then there's an opportunity for Gabor to get back into this one. He's very, very insistent on checking his discard every 2 seconds, which I like. It's good play to double check what you've got in your discard pile.
Yes, it is.
Very, very distracting, but it's okay.
Okay. Oh, interestingly enough, it looks like, yeah, with Maor not able to quite get the boss's orders to KO the Dedenne, instead opting to play it a little bit safer, going to go for the energy switch onto the Zacian and then play the research.
Yeah, and that's, again, a pretty strong move, because it means that if the switch does come up here, then they will be able to get the knockout on their opponent's Zacian. and here it is. And now we are essentially back at square one, and it's going to be very tough for Gabor to get another knockout here. Although I will say this, there are two metal sources in the hand right now, so it is possible.
Yes, it absolutely is.
Unlikely. So probably see a Jirachi promotion here as the three prizes are being taken, but this is not a great spot to be in. There's a big opportunity for Maor to win this game, but it's not over yet. We've got the energy and two metal sources, so another fully powered Zacian here. The switch will take the knockout, which would be pretty good, but it might not be enough to win the game.
Yeah. Now, here's an interesting situation. Now, in theory, Gabor could actually just guarantee the knockout by using Energy Switch with the water into the Jirachi and is retreating. But instead, Gabor just opts to play the Marnie.
Yeah, well, he knows his best chance to win this game is going to be to get that GX attack off or to attack with ADP with Ultimate Ray. So risking it there, knowing that he's already in a bit of a rough spot, needs to find that switch, which he has managed to do, means that Jirachi is now going to be able to give him the access to Stellar Wish. And it looks like he's grabbing a Grape Catcher here, which could potentially be a good card to grab. So we can see some damage onto that ADP at some point in the future. Just tossing up now whether it's worth grabbing it or not, because he knows I'm going to be playing Research next turn. Do I actually need this?
Yeah, absolutely. So there goes. Just a switch into the Zacian V and the Brave Blade knocking out Maor's Zacian V, and now there's two more prizes for Gabor there. Now, of course, Maor could be a little bit clever about this because there's only like a free prizer and two one prizes on his board right now, and so with that in mind, he can make sure to like hold off a little bit until he knows he has the access to the ways of powering up a Zacian V all in one go before actually doing anything. Might be a bit
Yeah.
tricky, but you never
It
know.
could be, but it's possible. It's definitely possible. And well, not the worst thing, but the best thing for Moa here is that there's actually a relatively good chance that an attack could come from that ADP. We see a Dedenne here to draw a fresh 6 cards. So realistically, all that we need to see is a 3-card combination: Metal Saucer into Energy Switch into a Gust of that Dedenne, and we will see a knockout. We've got 2 of those pieces already.
Yeah, we do. That's
Can we
ooh.
get there?
Yeah, that is what you're thinking for. Primate Wisdom goes for it. Has Maor found it? He
It's
played
going to be
2 Boss's Orders already.
and he needs a switch to get this Jirachi out of the active, so it's not
Yes.
guaranteed,
No, it's not.
but
Oh,
definitely possible.
hold on. Maor's played 4 Switch.
Oh, so this could be a big issue here. Obviously, the
Yeah.
ADP already powered and ready to go, but if you can't get into the active, then it's no use. And that could potentially give Gabor an opportunity to attack into that Dedenne, which was just put down. We just need to get
Yeah.
his Zacian in and out of the active and a Gust. But we've got the Crobat V off of the prizes. It's definitely possible. It's just a matter of whether or not they can find that switch card. Here comes a big charm coming down, giant charm, whatever it's called. I can't remember. It's always changing in my head. I can never remember exactly what it's called. And it looks like a research as well.
Yeah. Oh, and look, he was so close. He had the Boss's Orders. He was just missing the Switch card. Oh, that's brutal.
And now finds that escape board, but you'd think that that's going to be a really big missed opportunity. And now the ball is in Gabor's court. It is possible that we see this game end this turn.
Yeah, I mean, it will be tricky, bearing in mind that there isn't like much access to like dig as much. There's no switch
Mm.
card, as it were, to like switch it to the Jirachi to do Boss's Orders. So, and this kind of basically it's going to have to rely on thinning the hand out, like playing these turbo patches and energy switches, and then doing a Crobat to see if you can get into it.
Yeah, exactly. There's the 2 energy switches there, so potentially an attack with ADP could be coming through, but the tool on the Dedenne stop that being a knockout. So that's not an option unless, of course, there is Tool Scrapper in the list. I think we're going to try and see this Zacian attacking here, but the question is there going to be a manual retreat followed by a couple of turbo patch flips, or are we going to see some other method?
Yeah, it's really tough to
Really
say.
tossing it up here. Do I retreat or not?
Yeah, that's a consideration. I think it looks like Gabor is considering retreating here, and yeah, he does go for the retreat into the Jirachi.
and now we see these turbo patch flips. There's the first one. So now only one attachment required, a tails on the second, so it's not guaranteed now.
No, it's not.
We've still got the Crobat, we've got Stellar Wish, and obviously there is Great Catcher in the list somewhere, so we could potentially see that as well.
We could, but no, Gabor just opts to go for the Professor's Research, discards his entire hand.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, but
Yeah.
it's okay. It's still possible. We could see the Jirachi come through here. Might be a good opportunity to see some thinning with Cherish Ball and Quick Ball to try and draw some cards out of the deck. But there it is. There's the Great Catcher. How about that? Please don't realize that you.
Oh no!
This is this is one of those moments where when you're playing the game, it's easy enough to miss those opportunities. But yeah, obviously not being able to retreat the Jirachi here, moving that Zacian back onto the bench, and hoping that the boss is enough next turn is a perfectly viable strategy. But now it's back again to Maor. We can see the game end with a gust now as well.
Yeah, we could. I think it was one of those things where I just assumed that there's a switch card in hand, but obviously there wasn't. So, gosh, yeah, this is very, very close. And
see the question being asked, you're out of gust, right? we can't see this game ending, can we?
This is there's a Marnie. That is a well played as well, because obviously that it takes the boss's orders out of Gabor's hand, and actually gives him a terrible. Oh my god, that is not a good hand at all.
It's not, but it is good in the sense that there's an escape board there, so Jirachi is an option now, whereas it might not have been if that card wasn't there. We're seeing this game very slowly grind towards its conclusion here. Another bad top deck. We'll see off the Stellar Wish. Is there anything worth grabbing? Doesn't look like there is.
No.
This is painful to watch, seeing these two really powerful decks just unable to get that last knockout. And we could potentially see an attack from ADP here. That's the opportunity to get some damage onto that Zacian on Maor's side of the field. That could potentially be an option, or even just the Intrepid Sword by retreating backwards into that ADP could be a chance as well. But
it's
Ultimate Ray.
Yeah, I think Ultimate Ray is probably the. Oh, okay, no, just going to go for Intrepid Sword. There's an argument to Ultimate Ray on the basis of it just gets you the 2-hit KO. But it's I guess maybe the theory goes, I'd just rather dig for boss's orders and get the KO that way, which either way it's over 2 turns, so it's fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like there are 3 bosses in Maor's discard pile. So I think that we might actually see Gabor win this one, because I don't see any other method of gusting available unless I'm missing something completely. There's the Ultimate Ray. So now again in a position where we could win the game here, and I think that Eldegoss will be able to grab a boss out of the discard pile.
It will. So there you go. Eldegoss V with the ability gets the boss's orders out of the discard pile, and there goes the retreats into the Zacian V, goes to the boss's orders, brings up the Dedenne, and that will be the game. And Gabor takes an early victory in this POG Championships, goes 1-0.
What a stressful experience for those.
I know, right?
Oh my word.
God, yeah, so much going on there. There was, it really was like a knife's edge. Felt like either player could take it at any point, super close. But Gabor able to the patient play from Gabor's side, able to get him the victory in the end.
Yeah, exactly. And most importantly, understanding your opponent's list. He knew that Maor didn't have another Gust, so he was able to promote those Pokemon to take that extra time, those extra turns, to make sure that he had an option to win the game later.
And honestly, the ADP mirror, it can often go like this, because you can see it's sometimes it doesn't work out ideally for both players. We see that Maor even had the tempo advantage in the ulti creation, so Gabor adapting to that and deciding, no, actually I just want to take 3 knockouts on 2 prizes with the Zacian V, and with Maor having to bench that Dedenne to have that dig. In the end, it meant that he wasn't able to stop that, really, because he had to put down an extra 2 prizer to make Gabor's strategy actually work.
Yeah, exactly. It's always the risk with Dedenne on an ADP field is that it's always an opportunity to take some prizes, but didn't end up coming back to bite him there, managing to steal the victory with that first game, which is a good place to be in, I think, winning the first round of a big tournament like this.
Yeah, it always like when you ever get that first win under your belt, it always gives you the a little bit extra boost of confidence to carry on and winning and sort of playing out throughout the rest of the day. So with that, again, Gabor takes round 1, and we'll be starting off 1-0 today. But there are plenty more rounds of Pokemon action to come up today, guys. So we're going to go to a quick ad break now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back very soon with round